Shalom, I'm Nama Ru. This is Rabbi David Ru, and we are learning all about the laws that we have to live by in the land of Israel as Jews during the Shmita year, the 7th year of the 7-year cycle, which we are in right now. And I have all kinds of questions like, can I weed? What can I prune? What can I trim? What are the contexts? Because the land is ownerless and we can't do things that will help the plants grow because the land is resting.
Right. We've run across a couple times and never discussed it at depth, the difference between ukume ilana and avrue ilana. One is allowing a tree to live, one is to make it fruitful. So there's a very interesting Gemara in Avodah Zarah. Amar Ravina. Ravina starts, I'm actually including the very beginning of it just because it's an interesting thing that he says. Ana lo nagar, ana velo bat narga ana. He says, I am not a carpenter and I'm not the son of a carpenter. Umafrikinale. Nonetheless, I will answer your question. My kakashile. In fact, what is even bothering you? Ilema moed shviz kakashile. If you have a problem because of the differences in the laws of Chol HaMoed, where we're limited in what we can do agriculturally, and Shmita, that they're different. Ma'ishna shviz deshari, ma'ishna moed de'aser, that you've said certain things we're allowed to do on Shmita, but we're not allowed to do on Chol HaMoed. Midami. Why do you think they're the same at all? Shviz malacha aser rachmana, tircha shari. On Shmita, there are certain types of work that the Torah prohibits, but shlep is permitted.
Schlep, carry, move.
Shlep is shlep. There's no translation.
Okay, we talked about that.
Or tircha.
Okay.
Moed.
What's tircha?
Shlep.
Okay.
Moed afilu tircha nami asar. And chol moed, even schlepping around is asar. Elazihum agizum kakashile. No. What's bothering him is the difference between zihum, which is dealing with bugs in trees or invasions of trees, and pruning off dead branches of trees. There are two words for pruning in Hebrew. One is cutting things that are living so that the rest will grow better, and one is cutting off the dead stuff. So I'm not even allowed to cut off the dead stuff. Maishna zihum deshari, umasha gizum de'aser. What's the difference between preventing the bugs from eating the tree and trimming off the dead branches? Midami. Who says they're the same at all? Zihum akume ilana shari. Zihum, the getting rid of the bugs, is allowing the tree to live. If not, the bugs would actually kill the tree. Gizum avrui ilana va'aser. Whereas pruning off the dead things is allowing the tree to grow better, and that's prohibited, meaning I can trim it next year. It won't really matter. It's fine. The tree's not going to be any worse. The tree's not going to die because that might be worse. It won't be as fruitful, but it's not going to die. I'm not going to lose out of this. So the Gemara continues. I'm not going to read the rest, although I will include the rest below on YouTube. So the commentaries of this are actually found more in Moed Katan than here on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. And Rashi says, Situme Pile. He's explaining what this zihum is. It's filling up holes that the insects have eaten into the tree. Shemistamam b'kayim shel ilam. I'm filling up these holes in the tree. Shari, it's permitted, so Rashi comments. De'es be mishum peseda, because there would be a loss if I wouldn't do this. Avrue ilana aser, making the tree grow better is prohibited. Tave mishum revacha, because I'm doing this to make money. And there are many things I'm not allowed to do to make money. Vahad shari kishkush, and what I'm allowed to do kishkush, this is another one of these things that Rashi explains here is hainu situme pile. This is a different way, apparently, of filling up these holes in the tree, prevent the insects from attacking it. Vaha da aser, and that which is prohibited. Hainu avrui ilana. The kishkush was a different way of doing it, and I'm not allowed to do that because that makes the tree grow better. It's not that I'm allowing the tree to live. I'm making it grow better, and making it grow better I can't do. So according to Rashi, these are, remember, there are only 4 things that are prohibited from the Torah. These are not those. These are the rabbinic things, which are the nature of Shmita, as Rav Kook explained, that we should be resting from doing agricultural activities. And the Chachamim, according to Rashi, never made a decree where you would lose money. They didn't allow you to make more money on Shmita, but you don't have to lose anything either. That's Rashi's way of looking at it. The Ritva in his Chidushim here in Moed Katan learns it an entirely different way. Situme pile shari, filling up these holes is permitted. The Ritva explains. Perush, sheinu el lukume ba'alma. I'm only doing this to allow the tree to stand here. Shelo yikanes hashemesh bein habakaim v'lo chashive avoda. So the sun doesn't penetrate it, the bugs don't penetrate it, and it's not considered an avoda. It's not considered work. Aval yesh kishkush lechaze ki'ilan. However, there is another way of doing achieving the same result that strengthens the tree, ulashbicho, and makes it more beautiful, and makes it better, makes the fruit better. V'chashiva avoda, and that is considered an avoda, and that's aser. So, when you look at this, Chazon Ish explains it. Umihu nire dilakume ilanid shari. It appears to us that no matter what it is, to allow the tree to live is permitted. Einu ela b'shvis. This is only on Shmita. Shetachli sa'isr hatzmicha. The prohibition on Shmita is growing things, making it grow better. Aval b'Shabbos shetachli sa'isr torach ha'adam. But malacha, but on Shabbos, where the prohibition, Shabbos or Moed, where the prohibition is how much you schlep around, af ikume ilana b'chlal noteya. Therefore, even making it continue to exist is part of the prohibition. On Shmita, I don't care how much work you do. You can, if you want to, you can go into your warehouse and move every barrel from one side to the other, and the next day come and move them back. And do this every single day, work very hard every day. And on Shmita, there's nothing wrong with this. If you do this on Shabbos, it's awesome. All right? Because we don't want you schlepping around on Shabbos. But on Yom Tov, it's fine. Now, there are several nafkaminos. There's a difference between whether we understand things like the Ritva or like Rashi. And the Chazon Ish it comes out with one of the differences. And he's strict on this. And so the Chazon Ish writes in 1951, Chayavim l'zabel l'nakesh kodem Rosh Hashanah Tavshin Yud Beis. You have to go and you have to fertilize and weed your fields before Rosh Hashanah of 5712, the first Shmita year of the state of Israel, when the state of Israel was existing. Shelo yitztarchu l'zabel l'nakesh b'shvish. So you don't have to fertilize and weed on the Shmita year. Va'af im lo yaspik lekol hashana, even if it's not for the whole year. Kol ma de'efsher le'me'utei chayiv l'mayit. Anything that you can limit, you must limit. V'ken ma she'efsher la'acher ad acher Rosh Hashanah tavshin yud gimel. And so too, anything that you can delay and till after Rosh Hashanah of 5713, chiyuv la'acher v'aser b'shvis. You are required to delay it and not do it on Shmita. So the Chazon Ish is machmir for Rashi's opinion. All right? Rashi is saying there is a prohibition. If there is a prohibition, but it's put aside in certain cases, you have to, as much as possible, try and avoid that prohibition.
Just wait till after Shmita.
Or do it before Shmita. According to the Ritva, this isn't a malacha. Anything that would cause a loss simply is not prohibited at all. And if it's not prohibited at all, there's no reason why you should attempt to do it before Shmita or delay it until after Shmita. However, it does seem that both the Chazon Ish and the vast majority of authorities say we should try and be strict like Rashi, meaning you should try and do everything you can before Rosh Hashanah and delay everything you can until after Rosh Hashanah. If it comes out that you have to do things on Shmita, then if it would cause a long-term loss, then one is allowed to do it. Whereas if it wouldn't cause a long-term loss, then one has to wait until later. And this would be, that would be the halacha either according to the Ritva or according to Rashi. The only difference is, according to the Ritva, you wouldn't have to try and do it all in advance because it's simply not prohibited. There are other things that are differences and other aspects of Ikume Ilana and Evrua Ilana that we will discuss next time.
May you all have the great merit of living in Israel during the Shmita.